Hi, everybody. Kelenna Azubuike here, color commentator for the Warriors, and you are listening to Jim on Base.
Welcome back to another episode. For today's very special guest, we have on a member of the Golden State Warriors alumni who's now a current Golden State Warriors broadcaster. He also has some cornbread out we will get into. Please welcome the great Kelenna Azubuike. Kelenna,
Yes,
it's good to
sir.
see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me, Ryan. What's going on?
Yeah, excited to have you on. And I got to ask, what are you up to today? And where are you doing the Zoom from? Are you at home? Like, where are you at?
I am at home. I'm in the city, and it's been a good day so far. I had a DNA meeting, which we'll talk about later. It's this performance beverage company called Do Nothing Average DNA that I am a part of, and that meeting went well. Got some other work done, and now I'm talking to you. Usually, I get a workout in
Mm.
before my day gets started, but it was kind of an earlier start today and I wasn't able to get in. So I'm going to get the workout in later. I like to work out a lot of times on an empty stomach,
Mm.
but I did so much today early and wasn't able to work out. So I've already eaten. So I'm feeling like I really got to go extra hard tonight at some point in the gym. So that's probably going to happen later. But first things first, got to talk to you.
No, it's funny because that happened to me lately. I've been messing around sometimes, and I'll get on the treadmill and I'm like, "Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that Starbucks thing." Like, I'm really struggling to get through this incline workout. Like it's really a game changer.
Oh yeah. Well, food, your diet is such a huge part of just being healthy. And you think about just getting as many workouts as you can, like during the week or whatever. And your diet is a big part of that. So usually it's just intermittent fasting, or I'll just
Mm.
fast before I work out, work out on an empty stomach, and go with that. And for me, I just feel like I got to do something in the gym every day because coming from being an athlete, you just don't want to feel like you're not exercising or sweating or doing something at least every day when you're retired, and you don't want to just kind of let yourself go. So for me, I just try to get in the gym. A lot of times I'll do low impact stuff, whether it's elliptical, whether it's getting on the bike. I love to get on the Peloton and challenge myself. There's something challenging. I need something challenging. I need to sweat. And it's also a good stress reliever. Not that I'm stressed or anything, but just to kind of get that out, especially when I can start my day with it.
Yeah.
It's usually a good day after that. But I'm okay with getting in late. Sometimes late night workouts are fun too. So, but yeah, I haven't been eating very good lately, but as far as like super healthy food, but I'll do like fast here and there to try to reset my system a little bit, and then try to eat a little better. And you have to have your cheat days, though. The cheat days are important. I love my desserts. I'm addicted to cornbread, as you know. My wife's cornbread,
Mm.
obviously, it's her recipe. But yeah, just trying to do some challenging and make sure I get a sweat in at least once a day.
Well, I got to say, you're always looking good, especially into retirement. And like you said, it's important to eat right because I know you get around, you travel, so you got to look good at the beach, right? So, do you have any destinations
Yeah,
coming up, or?
we do. We're actually going to go to Jamaica. We're
Mm.
going to go to Jamaica. We went to Cabo earlier this summer. I think I told you about that. That was a really fun trip. It was Galway Live event that we went to. The Warriors sent me
Ah.
out there, and that was wonderful. Made beautiful connections and met some wonderful people. And the weather was perfect when we went out there. We got out to the beach, got in the water and everything. I didn't get in the water in the beach. We went to the pool and got in the water. I'm a suspect swimmer, so
Okay.
I do love the beach, but in the water, I really don't hold my own very well. Like if you just threw me out in the middle of the ocean and asked me to survive for a while, like my adrenaline, my will to survive might take over. I might survive for a while, like, but my dog paddle is.
Mm.
I wouldn't even say it's basic. It's just suspect. It's not a good dog paddle. It's very ungraceful. I look like I'm drowning and treading water. It doesn't really agree with me. I guess I'm just kind of my skin. I don't know. My muscles heavier than most. Whatever. Maybe I'm made out of lead or something. But that's been a struggle. My parents actually put me in swim lessons growing up, and I got kicked out because the teacher just got fed up and frustrated with me. I just couldn't do what the other kids were doing. She's like, "There's no hope for you. I don't even know why you're here." It was pretty discouraging. I'm surprised I didn't cry, but I took it on the
Yeah.
head and decided, I'm just going to survive and live without being able to swim well. So I've made it this far.
Well, you can drown with style. You look like a little ballerina going down, you know?
Well, I could, but that's the thing. I'm usually frantic in the water. So whether I'm drowning or staying afloat, it looks like I'm drowning. So it's just all bad. It's not
Yeah.
good for me in the water. But in the pool, I can usually look like I'm doing okay, especially if it's not super deep. So I can actually go forward and swim. It's just staying in the same position. Doesn't I could even backstroke. I can look good like I'm a swimmer backstroke. I can fake like I actually can swim if I'm either going forward or backwards, but staying in the same place and just kind of looking graceful. Like the really good swimmers, the water is like right here, and it's just like they're just they don't even look like they're moving half the time. For me, I don't understand how they do that. So I'm envious of those people.
Well, you can stay safe on land and
Thank you. Thanks.
just eat the cornbread, because that'll weigh you down. But
Yeah.
I know you've been going around, I think some a little bit so far in this off season, promoting it too, right? You had like some meet and greets, and I was bummed I missed the one a few weeks ago or last week.
Yeah, there's been some good events. We've done most of our meet and greets early on. Like we did the Share Tea. So we're in 5 locations now. Share Tea Hercules sells the cornbread. Share Tea Fairfield. Share Tea is the biggest boba tea store in the
Mm.
world, and two of those locations are carrying it right now. Then we have TJ's Drinks. They're like Napa Valley, American Canyon, and then Sarap Shop is a Filipino
Mm.
restaurant here in the city. They actually have a brick and mortar. They actually have a stand at Chase Center as well. And I encourage people to get out to their brick and mortar in the city in San Francisco. It's on Stillman Street. The food is amazing there, and they are carrying the cornbread. And then we're actually also at Club Fugazi. I don't
Oh,
know if
okay.
you've heard of that. It's almost like a mini Cirque du Soleil show, trapeze artists, seesaws, people jumping all over the place. Dear San Francisco is the name of it.
Okay.
And so people go there. You can order the cornbread. It's on the menu. They have it a nice little sampler where you get 3 different flavors.
Hmm.
You get the honey butter there too. The honey butter is basically one of my only additions to this whole operation. My wife is a genius. She's the source of the recipe. She came up with this out of her genius mind, and the way she's able to have that crazy high cooking IQ that she has and just create things. She did this with this cornbread recipe, and the main thing with it is it sticks. The texture is wonderful. It's moist. It keeps its moisture, and then the different flavors. Because when have you ever had anything other than jalapeno or just plain cornbread? I mean, that no one really has had different flavors. So we
Yeah.
have blueberry white chocolate, we have
Hmm.
banana walnut, we have fiesta, which is like our version of jalapeno. It has 3 different peppers in there. It's kind of a Mexican twist to cornbread. Then we have ube salted egg, which is our best seller. Ube is a Filipino delicacy. Salted egg is a Filipino delicacy.
Hmm.
Put it together, it's mind blowing, and that's again our best seller. And then we have caramel, which is just basically incredible. That's kind of one of our most simple flavors, and everybody loves that. And then we have the honey butter, and the honey butter is something I came up with. I actually came up with the blueberry white chocolate flavor. That was one of the
Yeah, that sounds good.
flavors that we tried, that we made early on in this whole thing before we ever launched. And so we love that. That's kind of my first love. Banana walnut is probably my favorite now, but they're all my favorites basically. So yeah, we've had some meet and greets. We've had a lot of people come out and show love and show out wherever we've gone. And the real star is the cornbread. They come for the cornbread, and the cornbread keeps selling well and kind of holding its own. And that has been really fun. It's kind of been a side hustle, and we're going to expand. Eventually, we'll be in Chase Center, which will be really good. It's funny because we've gotten so many requests. We had the NBA order a bunch for the broadcast meetings last summer, and I'm hitting up Paul Benedict and seeing if they want to order it again because it was such a hit. But so all of the broadcasters from the other teams, the color commentators, the play-by-play guys, they all were able to partake and enjoyed it so much. And they're like, "What is this? This is incredible!" And so when they come to Chase Center for games during last season, this happened multiple times where Raymond Ritter, Raymond Ritter
Oh
is
yeah.
getting, they're asking Raymond Ritter, hey, is the cornbread here yet? Can we get some of the cornbread? And so Raymond was talking to me like, hey, what's going on? When does it come to Chase Center? And we're discussing that. And can we get it in the visiting broadcaster booth every single game for the opposing broadcasters? So that's kind of all in the works right now. But I
Nice.
love going around, and sometimes my wife and I will just pop up to one of the retailers or our partners that are selling the cornbread and just say hi to people. And you never know when that may happen, but it's been good to get the reaction to cornbread that's not your typical cornbread. It's much different than probably what anyone's tasted, but it's still authentic to cornbread, and it tastes like cornbread, but the texture is so wonderful, and then the flavors are so different. So it's been cool. It's been cool to see the reaction to it.
Well, I hope you get in Chase Center because I was gonna ask before we started, like, could we get some in the media room or?
Yeah, it's going to be everywhere once it's in there. So Sarab Shop, like I said, has a stand in there.
Mm,
So we'll probably start with it in there first, and then we'll talk to the Warrior higher ups and see if we can get it in all the different suites and get it, in the media room, the broadcaster booth, and just go from there. Just have it everywhere. Why not? Like that's
yeah.
what I'm saying. I think we should just be in every single part of Chase Center, and that's the move. So I'll definitely let you know. I'll shoot you a note when it is at Sarab Shop first, and then as we continue to spread throughout all of Chase Center, I'll definitely give you a heads up.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to that. And you've mentioned her a few times, so I was going to ask, how did you meet your wife? She's got the secret recipe, and
Yes.
is she an athlete herself then, or how'd you guys connect initially?
She looks like an athlete, but she's not an athlete right now. But we met through a mutual friend, and when we first met, obviously we started talking over the phone first. We were actually like DMing back and forth on Instagram, and we had exchanged numbers in the past, and then stopped talking for a little bit, and then I saw one of her posts on Instagram, and we kind of weren't talking at the time. I saw it and I laughed out loud. So I was like, well, I did laugh out loud. I made a noise. So I do have to like send her like a laughing face emoji just because that's the right thing to do at this point. So I sent that to her. And this was when they had updated Instagram to where if you send one little laughing face emoji, a fountain of laughing
Yeah.
face emojis sprouts stuff. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, I didn't mean to do all this. So this is not good. She's gonna think I'm doing too much, but she loved it, and she loved that I got her sense of humor because it was some post that she posted like about, I can't even remember. It was like I'm supposed to be somewhere, but I'm taking these pictures of these this background behind me, and I like, oh, whatever it was. I don't know. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I found it funny. And
Mm.
so we started talking again from there, and we spent some time talking on Instagram, and then she was like, wait, don't you have my number? Why are we talking on Instagram? I was like, oh yeah, duh, yeah. So I ended up calling her, and the first time she heard my voice, I spoke in a British accent, which is, well, a Quince English accent because I was born in London, and
Mm.
that's a long story. I told her I have an English accent just messing around, and she was like, I want to hear. So I called her, and I won't do it now because it's so bad. And I actually went back to London in 2013 trying to put on back on my Quince English accent, and they were like, "We don't believe you that you're from here. This is not real." I'm like, "I'm telling you, I was born here. I'm one of you." They're like, "No, your accent is not good." And so I clearly have to work on that. But she loved it, and fast forward, we ended up getting married. So
Nice.
I guess the accent worked on her. Yeah, even though she later learned that this is not actually the way I talk all the time. But we got a good kick out of that.
And you're actually way older than you're listed, right? You just look good because of her skincare products. Is that true, or?
Yeah, yeah. I'm like
Yeah.
65, and I'm not, no, no, no. Yeah, but no, the skincare, it really works well, and it's funny because most guys really aren't into skin care and taking care of your skin like that. But my wife was ambassador first, and she was telling the company that, like, listen, I want to get my husband involved. It's the only way I'll do this is if he's involved. And so she brought it to me, and I was like, all right, I'll try the products. And I tried the moisturizer, the moisture barrier, and I loved it. And I got passionate about it. This is actually my favorite piece of their
Ah,
skincare line. It's the moisture barrier. It's called Matter of Fact, and one of the main things I use it for is for my scalp
mm,
because I do have a lot of hair, and sometimes if you do have a lot of hair, your scalp can get kind of dry.
mm.
And so I rub it in my scalp, I massage it, and it keeps my scalp really moist and it feels amazing. And so ever since I've been using that, that's been the effects on my scalp. And then obviously on my face and skin doesn't get dry at all. It's always moist and everything. So they have so many great products, and I believe they're going to have our pictures up in Sephora, and we're going to do some events with them as well. So, matter
Nice.
of fact, is legit. We've been sending gift baskets to some of our friends and just showing them what it's like. So, it's been pretty cool. Well, you might see us posting about it here and there. I know my wife is going to post about it, and they're just wonderful people too. That's one of the main things. Like when you partner with people, it's not just about the product; it's about the people behind the product and their story. And we really connected with these people. They're also people of faith. They're believers just like we are. And that meant a lot to us. Our relationship with Jesus Christ is everything to us, and the same with them. So we just connected on a lot of different levels, but they do have a great product, matter of fact. And we love it. My wife uses basically everything that is in their skincare line, matter of fact, and I use a bunch of it too. So that's been a cool development this summer, and we're actually going to have them go to a bunch of events with us. So when we go back to Cabo next
Mm.
year for that same Galway Live, we're going to have them set up their station there and do a skin analysis on people and really make it fun and engaging for the people there. And they'll have gift baskets for all of them as well. So they're a really cool company with really good people.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll make sure to put some links in the bio there. And one thing I like to chat with too, with whoever I have on, because I'm a big music fan, is I kind of found out. Sounds like you're a big music fan too, right?
I am. I love music. I'm not going to say used to. I make beats. I'm
Mm.
a producer. I haven't made one in a while. It's not exactly like riding a bike. I'm gonna have to get back into it and kind of refresh some of my beat making muscles and get back into that. But I've made a lot of beats. I would show you some. Maybe I'll send you some in the future.
That'd be
But
cool.
it's mostly like hip hop, R&B. Sometimes it's got a hint of electronic in there, kind of a mixture of all of those at times. And I just enjoy creating and seeing what I can come up with. So I actually got to get back into that. I was using FL Studio, and I had a bunch of kits and everything and a bunch of sounds, and I would put stuff together. And my younger brother actually used to make beats with me, and
Hmm.
we were growing up, but we thought we were going to be like another version of the Neptunes or something like that when they were doing their thing. But he doesn't make beats anymore, and I've gotten so busy lately with other stuff. I haven't been able to make one in, I guess it's over a year now. So I want to get back in the studio and do that. But I love hip hop. I listen to a lot of Christian music and uplifting music, and my wife and I are always finding good music and that can just, it's good for working out, good for just listening to in the car, whatever the case may be. So I've always been, I guess, somewhat musically inclined. My family, they were all musicians. My older brother was really good at the piano and bass, and
Hmm.
my younger brother used to play bass, and he can play electric guitar a little bit too. And my sister was a praise and worship leader at
Hmm.
our church in Denver for a while, and she could play a little guitar as well. So we've always loved music. The whole family's kind of been pretty musical.
Nice. That's cool because I played drums in the church band growing up, like in high
Did you
school.
really?
Yeah,
So I
yes.
tried playing drums. I tried playing drums actually. So I had a stint with a few different instruments. I was in not in high school, I guess in elementary school. I tried the band class for a while and I played the saxophone
Oh, wow. Okay.
and I was trash. I tried to, I could fake like I was so. I was pretty mid though, and I was like, I would be because we would have like not recitals, but like these shows that that we'd have to memorize
Mm.
our music or whatever it is, read music, and we would play for crowds, and I would always be in the middle, and I would just hope that everybody else would drown me out because I would forget part of my line or whatever you call it. I can't even remember what you call it when it comes to saxophone or when it comes to music, but I would forget part of it and just not play and act like I'm playing. And of course, there's like four other saxophones that it's like it doesn't matter now. If all of us forget at the exact same time, then it would be bad. But you can't really tell if one of us screws up. And it was always me screwing up. I was the problem child. His name was Mr. Wheeler. Was our instructor, conductor. I don't
Mm.
even. I know conductors are for like
Yeah.
orchestras, but we were far from an orchestra. We were, especially with me in there, I brought us all down. But so that was my first, and then I played drums, but never like in a class or anything, and I always just mess with it. We actually had a drum set at home, and we would jam out. And my dad was pretty musically inclined, and he would try to write music, but his music that he would write was not good at all. It was pretty terrible, and it wouldn't go together. So he'd come in and be all excited when we're all kind of jamming out and like, I got a new song I wrote this song, and he'd play it for us, and we'd be trying to like put music to it. Like, that this doesn't work. It's not, your verses and your choruses aren't really working together. The chorus is too long. It's one stanza too long, whatever it is. Anyway, it was good fun. We always just had a good time just messing around in there. And my older brother was kind of the leader of our terrible band, and not really a band, but just having fun in our music room, whatever. So that was fun. Those were the days.
Nice. Yeah, good memories right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I know you, like you said, you were born in London. I know you grew up in Oklahoma. So, being in different places, who were your favorite teams and players growing up?
Wow. So I actually started out playing soccer, and
Mm.
my dad, we were born in London, like you said, and so we grew up watching Liverpool highlights. My dad had like a Liverpool highlight tape that we would watch, and so we thought Liverpool was like the perfect team and would always score and always win games because they seemed like it. I guess we weren't old enough to figure out what the concept of like a highlight tape means. It means like it's all the best plays, and there's a lot of bad plays that this team will make, but you're not going to see them here. But so we thought they were the perfect team. So I guess we were Liverpool fans growing up, and that got me playing soccer, and that kind of helped with my coordination and everything. That's always good to have your kids in soccer. That definitely helps. And I'm left-footed and right-handed, which is weird.
Wow.
So I was a left forward. I would kick left-footed and everything. And when I played basketball, I shot right-handed. So my brother started playing basketball first, and I saw him watching him play, and I kind of fell in love with that. I was like, I think I like this sport better. So I kind of switched over to basketball and retired my soccer jersey up in my room in the third grade. It's doing too much there, but I had a good run. I thought I had a good run when it comes to soccer. I scored a lot of goals. I was like, I've done enough in this sport, conquered this sport, and it's time to move on. It's time to move on to a different sport and try to conquer that. So that's when I started playing basketball. But so then my basketball favorite team was the Chicago Bulls.
Mm.
Loved watching Michael Jordan play. We actually got to go to a game growing up, and we had somewhat decent seats, I think, in the lower level. And my dad got bamboozled into buying tickets that were way worse and paying for seats that were way worse. One of those people
Uh,
outside that's selling tickets,
uh,
whatever you call them, kind of
yeah.
you guys fooled my dad, and we ended up being way up in the balcony, almost behind a curtain,
Uh,
but we could still see the game, and it was incredible to watch. This was before camera phones, obviously. So every time Michael Jordan shot the ball, flash bulbs went off all over the building, and he still had like 30 something. I'm like, how does this guy even concentrate? Every time he shoots, there's flash bulbs everywhere. He's got to be blinded by this, and he just kept his concentration, shot his fadeaway jumpers, and just ran back like he does, swagged out, tongue all out, and everything. I mean, he played incredible. That was actually up until the Warriors took over that mantle in San Antonio with the biggest crowd ever at a basketball game, an NBA game, attendance wise. We were part of that. We were part of that game where it was the Hawks, I believe it was the Georgia Dome, and it was the Bulls playing, and Scottie Pippen was injured, but Michael Jordan carried and did his thing, and everybody came and showed up, and that was the highest attendance ever at an NBA game.
Wow.
And my family and I were a part of that. We were in the crowd, way up in the crowd, but we were in the crowd and we were contributors to that attendance. So that was our claim to fame for a long time. And then obviously we were part of this Warriors one. We were at that game in San Antonio where they did that as well. So it's cool to be a part of the two highest attended games in NBA history.
Yeah, what are the odds to say you've been at both?
I know, right? It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, it's been a good I've seen a lot of good basketball. I'll say that.
Well, it's kind of cool because to talk about that, one of your first games or first game as a fan, and then I'm always curious when I have people on, what do you remember about your NBA debut, or maybe like your first NBA start? Like, what kind of sticks with you more?
That was a fun game. I was pretty nervous. I remember I got called up January 1st. I was the leading scorer of the G League, and the Warriors called me up, and I almost missed my call up because, again, it was New Year's. I kind of went out the night before New Year's Eve and ended up at some house, didn't have a charger, fell asleep, phone died, and I finally got to a charger on January 1st, New Year's Day, and I had like 170 text messages and a bunch of missed calls, and my mom was calling me going, "Hey, you're about to miss your call up. What are you doing? What's going on? Where are you?" And Don Nelson, Larry Riley, my agent, they'd called me. And so I didn't miss the call up, thank goodness. And I flew out to, I believe it was OKC because it was the Pelicans, or was it the Hornets at the time? I guess the Hornets. Yeah, the Hornets were playing in Oklahoma City because New Orleans was dealing with the Katrina
Mm.
stuff, I believe. And so that was the first game. I think I had 4 points, 4 or 5 points. My first bucket, I caught the ball, just kind of ripped it through, sliced through the defense, did my slasher thing, and laid the ball up. And I was like, okay, that works. That was my first bucket, first shot ever, went in.
Nice.
And then the second bucket was a dunk. I got a steal, and I remember it was kind of just a breakaway. The chase was on, and I just outran a guy and dunked it. And I remember Baron Davis was like trailing the play behind me, and he was like, "Oh, nice, great job, bro." Yeah, and he dapped me up. He was almost like somewhat surprised, but not really. He's like, he was impressed by that, and that made me feel good. And that's another thing too. Baron actually really helped me out when I got to the NBA. He kind of took me under his wing, showed me the ropes on and off the court. And one of the things he said was like, "Hey, we're still playing the same game you grew up playing. You've been playing all your life. We're just better up here. But keep doing your thing. Keep playing basketball the same way you know how to play." And that's what we need you to do right now, especially with all these injuries. So I kind of came in with that mindset. Jason Richardson was out. Monte Ellis was out with injury. And so I just tried to be aggressive and do my thing there. But that first game was really cool just to finally realize something you'd worked for all your life to play in an NBA game. And not many people can say they played in an NBA game. And so that was a blessing, and things kind of took off from there.
Yeah, it's some awesome little flashback there because you're naming Baron Davis, Jay Rich. I've had both of
Yeah.
them. I've had Matt Barnes on the show, and
Yep.
you won't believe this. I was in San Diego like 2 weeks ago. I was sitting at the bar area of a restaurant called Monarch in like Del Mar,
Okay.
and I just casually looked over, and who's walking towards me? Al Harrington.
Oh, there you go.
So
Nice.
just thought that I said, "Hey, Oakland in the house." So just
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that was random. I had to let your old We Believe teammate.
That's awesome. Yeah, Al Harrington's a band. Yeah, he's actually done amazing stuff with his cannabis company,
Yeah, I saw that.
and yeah, he's been doing great with that. But you said that was in Denver, or where was this?
Del Mar, like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Just
nice.
so
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
out of town, just randomly looked over. And I'm like, wait, is this really happening? Is that Al Harrington right there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, he's awesome. Yeah. Next time you see him, and you tell him I said hi.
Yeah. Well, it made me wonder too. Where did you live when you played on the Warriors? Because at that time they were in Oakland. So were you in Oakland and Walnut Creek? I'm always curious where you guys were at.
I was in Oakland. I was in Oakland Hills,
Nice.
right at Keller Avenue. You go up the
Yeah.
hill there, and so I enjoyed that. I think a few different players were in that area as well, and so a little bit of a drive to Oracle Arena from there, but not a bad one. And I enjoyed the drive and everything. But those were the days. That was fun. I used to actually live before that on Lakeshore,
Mm-hmm.
Merritt,
1200 Lakeshore.
Lake Merritt. Yeah,
Yeah.
I live 1200 Lakeshore.
I just
Yeah,
talked to Steph last week and he said that was his first place.
yeah, yeah. That's a lot of our first places actually. You'll
Nice.
be surprised how many players actually ended up staying there first. But it
Yeah.
was just a good building. I guess the Warriors had a good relationship with that building and the people there, and so I enjoyed my time there. Again, right there on Lake Merritt, and it's good view of the city and everything, and good location. So yeah, I enjoyed my time there too.
Yeah, I had to point it out. I was like, we're the little roundabout at the end, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think I last time I went and saw that building, or I was just in that area, the building looked totally different than when I was there. I
Okay.
think they painted it something different because when I was there, it was pretty much all white,
Mm.
and now I think they painted something different, unless they've gone back to all white or whatever. But yeah, it's really interesting to see.
Well, I am curious, being a lifelong Warriors fan, you've been around the organization a good amount of time now. So, what's the favorite jersey? Whether you played or you're broadcasting, does anyone stick out to you that you love?
My favorite jersey, like, what do you
Uh,
mean, like the jersey number?
or favorite jersey style, since the Warriors now they kind of have pumped out so many different
Oh
styles.
man, probably the city jerseys.
Oh, the yellow or the
This,
blue ones?
yeah, the yellow ones. Like there was one. I remember ours. We had one that actually said the city on it,
Mm-hmm.
and it had the what's
Cable
the
car?
cable car at the back.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite one. I don't have it here, but um, I have some of my jerseys later on. But yeah, that's probably my favorite one. Some of the throwback ones. I guess it'd be the throwback one, not the city jersey,
Yeah.
because their city jersey now is totally different. But yeah, the throwback ones, those are probably my favorite. There's so many; they all look good. Obviously, the We Believe ones are pretty classic. When I first saw those We Believe ones, when I first got to the Warriors, and I was like, these are all right. Then they just grow on you. You know,
Yeah.
you just kind of the colors kind of mesh and work really well. And then during the We Believe years and that Dallas Mavericks series, when you be at Oracle and you see the sea of kind of off yellow, and it seemed so intimidating for the opponents, and they were so loud there, and so that whole uniform and that whole vibe was pretty dope too.
Yeah, I actually got to talk to, that reminded me, got to talk to Derek Fisher a couple months ago, and I said, I'm still mad at you for killing us when he was on the Jazz and he was shooting those shots. So
Yeah,
he still kind of pisses me off. I have PTSD from
same,
him.
same. I feel like we should have won that series too
Yeah.
because we had beaten the best team in the league pretty
Hmm.
much, and so we felt like okay, now we can beat anybody, and we should have won that series. We just couldn't really close. We had some issues when it comes to tax and missing some free throws here and there in some of those games, especially in Utah. But the dunk over Karolinko that Baron Davis
Yeah.
had, legendary. I mean, that's one of the best dunks ever in the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
So that should have culminated in another win, but it kind of got things started off right. Like, there's a lot of hunger before that for Warrior fans and Dub Nation to get to the playoffs and to taste what that was like, even
Yeah.
for just a first round victory, and then kind of start that winning spirit off. And obviously, this current version of the Warriors, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson when he was here, Draymond Green obviously took it to another level, and championships. KD contributed his too. So it's really cool to kind of see how far they've come now.
Yeah. Well, I just had to tell you since you're on that team that We Believe, I got so excited. I drove to school the next day and had my little Mitsubishi pickup truck, and I had the We Believe sign,
Yeah.
and I taped it on the inside of like my rear window, and immediately was pulled over for view obstruction. But
Was it worth it though? It was
oh,
worth
it
it.
was worth. He let me off. I think he could sense my excitement, and I put it back on as soon as he drove away, and I went back to school. So
That's
that's my
awesome.
memory.
Okay. All right. I was gonna give the officer crap, but he's a real one for that.
Yeah,
That's good.
exactly.
He let you off. That's good. I love that. No, that's awesome. Yeah, the We Believe year was it was magical. It really was. And during that whole season, it's really interesting because we the trade obviously happened,
Oh yeah.
and I was playing a good amount before that, and then Steven Jackson comes in, Al Harrington, and those guys just helped us tremendously. And Steven Jackson was so versatile, and Don Nelson with his whole style, run and gun, and sometimes he would play Steven Jackson at the five and make them match up with us too, and we'd run and use our strengths against people, and we just had the Mavericks number that season. Like
Mm.
we had beaten them a good amount of times, and we were super confident against them. And Don Nelson knew exactly what Dirk Nowitzki wanted to do, and so he'd be there on the free throw line, and he'd spin back, and we'd all be there waiting for him, and we'd get steals and go the other way and score and everything. And they just couldn't figure out what to do. Avery Johnson was their coach at the
Mm.
time, and it was a struggle for him that whole series. And we basically started that series knowing we're going to beat this team, and it was a pretty good feeling to have, and it happened. So that was probably the most fun I had as an NBA player, even though towards the end in the playoffs, I didn't play as much. I got a few minutes here and there, but just watching those guys play for each other, getting a cheer from the bench, and learning so much from guys like Baron Davis again and Jason Richardson and Matt Barnes hitting the big threes he hit, even
Yeah.
Mikal Pietrus coming in and having big minutes here and there.
Air
And
France.
yeah, it was amazing to see everybody just rise to that occasion.
Well, that reminds me really quick. I might be one of the only guys on the planet, but I have hanging with pride on my closet over here a Mikal Pietrus jersey, I rock it. I blow people's
Nice.
minds at Chase sometimes.
That's amazing. McKelvey, there's a blast from the past there, man. I wonder where he is right now. Probably
Yeah.
somewhere in France. And Andres Biedrins was one of my
Mm.
favorite, probably one of my favorite teammates for sure. I mean, I had a lot of favorite teammates, but he was the life of the party. Called him Goose. Just a great-hearted human being, and always fun to have around, and just funny. And we had good times. A lot of times we team up in practice for different drills because we just kind of thought the same way and kind of game the system a little bit here and there. We'd always laugh and have fun doing that. He'd always say "Buki big time," and I'd say the same thing back. It was kind of one of our inside jokes,
Mm.
but he was awesome.
Yeah, and he's the only guy that could have a nice tan in November. I'm like, how is he doing this?
Yeah. He's just cool as
Yeah.
the other side of the pillow. Just I think he's big into like poker or something like that too.
Mm.
He's in Latvia, I think, just chilling, doing his thing. But yeah, he's we got to get him back for a Warrior game at some
Yeah.
point. I know he once Steph hit one of his landmarks. They
Yep.
had him on the big screen
Yeah.
or the jumbotron at Chase Center, and he gave Steph a little you know word of congratulations. So it was good to see him there.
No, good memories there. And yeah, like you said, we got to get him in person, not just on the Jumbotron.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. I know. I remember when Don Nelson they got him back for a game
Mm.
finally. I think it was at well, the last one I guess was at Chase Center, right? I think they got him back for Chase.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The long hair.
I remember later on. I think during some of the championship years, I think it was a championship year, they got Don Nelson back to Oracle, and he had like a ponytail
Yeah.
and white hair,
The
just
chains, I think.
yeah, just looking like a mob boss,
Yeah.
Just and he's in Hawaii. It's so hard to get him away from there, and I totally understand it. The place is paradise, and he owns so much land and houses out there. He's in heaven out there, so it's so hard to get him away from that. But it was good to see him. I got to see him in person and talk to him
Mm.
and everything, so that was fun.
Nice. Well, I did have to ask you a little about your broadcasting career. Just wondering, what's it like to broadcast and, you're still part of the organization, but to be kind of outside the locker room? Is that kind of hard to adjust to, especially when someone like Steph is someone you've been teammates with? Is it like a different vantage point or an adjustment period for you?
It is different. There's a little bit of an adjustment period, but I'd been away from the game long enough to where it wasn't very hard to adjust. Like when I got done, my career pretty much ended in 2013, and honestly, I didn't want to have anything to do with basketball, just because I was a little not bitter, but just kind of upset about the way my career ended with the injury, and
Yeah.
I felt like I should still be playing, and so I didn't want to be watching basketball, and I kind of was away from the game for a while in terms of even watching the game. And then time goes by and the time definitely heals and you start kind of watching here and there. And I fell in love with the game again slowly and gradually. And the way I got into broadcasting was because when I was playing, I always felt like broadcasting would be fun to do, and maybe it was something I could do. Like my family, we all love talking sports and watching and everything. So Debbie Merman from the Players Association actually hit me up when I was at Kentucky because I had gone back to Kentucky to finish my degree. I just decided to go back and hibernate because I'd been taking classes online when I was playing and everything. I got to a point where there was no more classes being offered online and the higher level classes for my degree, and the only way I could finish was to actually be in class. So my educational advisor, whatever you call him, hit me up, and he was like, just come back to campus, hibernate here, and just get it done. And it won't take you that long. You'll be surprised how quick it goes by. Get your stuff, your business or whatever else you're doing to a place where it can just kind of take care of itself and just come out here. So I did that and went and got my degree, made the dean's list. That was
Wow.
that was really cool. It's something I'm proud of. Told my mom I'd get my degree. I kept that promise. Walked across the stage just for her. And then Debbie Merman hit me up and said they're having this Broadcaster U program that they're doing. They're going to start it this year. My year was the first year. She's like, "You want to be a part of it?" And I know you had said you were interested maybe in sports broadcasting. And so would you like to come down? I was like, yeah, why not? I'll go do that. So that was a lot of fun. They took all of us through. I think there was like 7 or 8 of us, former players in that program that were interested, and they took us through the gauntlet. They gave us like 3 to 5 minute talks and then put us on camera and just back and forth. So it was really engaging, hands on. You could kind of watch yourself progress, get more and more natural on camera. And by the end of it, you end up with a reel you can show people.
Hmm.
And they let us do like simulated color during games, studio, sideline reporting, radio, color, and basically all the different types of sports broadcast, and they let us kind of dip our feet into it and just try it out and kind of get comfortable on camera and everything. So got to see a lot of the behind the scenes too when it comes to broadcasting, what goes into making a show and the production and all of that too. And I just kind of fell in love with every part of it. So that's when I really decided I'm gonna get into this thing and put my heart into it. And that's one of my mottos for sure. Just doing everything with all my heart. I do as good as I can, prepare the same way that I prepared for basketball, and just uh, throw my everything into it and be prepared. So I did that with broadcasting, and I didn't even know what I wanted to do when it comes to either doing studio or doing color, or whatever. I just was like, I just want to get into this. So I actually called Jim Barnett, who was the color commentator for the Warriors at the time, and he's a legend. And we were good friends. He'd always come to practice when I was playing, and we chop it up and everything, and talk about different aspects of the game. And so I actually called him before I got into broadcasting and was even working. And I was like, "Hey, Jim. Just wanted to holler at you and pick your brain a little bit. I'm thinking about getting into broadcasting. I know this is your domain. Give me some advice. Talk to me. And the first thing he said to me was, before he said anything else, the first thing he said was, "You know what? I think you should take my job."
Really?
He said that to me. And
Wow.
I was like, whoa, wait a minute. That's not what I'm calling for. I don't even know what I want to do yet. I just wanted to pick your brain. You've been doing this for a long time. I just maybe wanted some advice. And he was like, yeah, no, I know, but I feel like you'd be good at this. You speak well. I think you would fit right in and the job would be good for you. And I was like, whatever you say, but yeah, just give me some advice. And so I appreciated him for that, the advice he gave me. And then he actually got the ball rolling. He called Devin Fox up, who's with NBC Sports Bay Area, and they brought me out to do some pre and post game shows, and started with like half or three-fourths of the season doing pre and post for those shows. And eventually it was a full season the year after that. And did that for 5 years, I guess it was, doing pre and post and halftime and everything and different shows. But during the time I was doing color for Summer League, NBA
Mm.
games, color for G League games, and just getting reps. I was doing WCC games with USF and San Diego. I did a game in Santa Clara. I was doing game there. I just wasn't really saying no to anything, which was really good because I was able to get reps and
Mm.
get comfortable behind the camera and just become a little more natural. When I first started doing pre and post, one of my things was I would just talk super fast, like a
Mm.
million miles an hour, and my mind was just running. I had all these things I wanted to say. I just didn't realize I was just talking so fast, and I'd watch myself back, and I'm just like, and the more you do it, the more you can watch and realize and go, wait a minute, let me just slow down, take my time, and so you just kind of figure out little things like that here and there, and so the journey has been amazing, but it's the second best job for me. The first would
Mm.
be being in the NBA. If I could still play, I would. But if I can't play, then this is the next best thing for me, and it's been a blessing. It doesn't feel like work at all. It's just a joy to come to work and work with Bob Fitzgerald and Phil Polisino and everybody in the truck, everybody that we work with. Obviously, everybody with the Warriors organization is wonderful. Are wonderful. It's a class organization. Everybody is class, and I enjoy it, man. Raymond Ritter, um, everybody from that I work with closely with the Warriors. It's been a blessing, and I don't take it for granted. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this coming season, but being able to stay around the game is more than a blessing, even if I am not in the locker room all the time, which I do go in the locker room all the
Mm.
time, before and after games. But obviously, I'm not in there for the pregame speech or anything like that, or the halftime speech, or like, so there is that little degree of separation. But other than that, we're around the team, we're in the locker rooms, we're on the planes, we're eating dinner and breakfast with these guys on the road, and so it's almost like being a player still. My wife
Mm.
thinks I'm still a player. She's every time I'm traveling, I hear it from her when I get back, and she misses me and everything, which is a
Mm.
great thing. So there is that, a lot of traveling that's still involved, and I don't mind flying on planes and that whole aspect of it. I do miss my wife and everything, but that's part of the job. So yeah, it's been a true joy and just an honor to be able to call games for the Warriors. It's, to me, the best organization in basketball, top to bottom, and to get to call games that Steph Curry is playing in. This is a once in a trillion generational type of talent, and we just have to count our blessings while he's still playing, because when he's done, he will be missed in a massive, massive way. And I don't think there'll ever be another Steph Curry, anyone to do it quite like he does, especially with his
Yeah.
shooting ability, but his all around ability. And it's cool to be able to say that I was able to play in a game with him in a few games with him when he was a rookie, and then call his games too. So that's been great. Obviously, Draymond Green, the same thing, another legend, Hall of Famer. Klay Thompson, getting to call his games. Jimmy Butler, all these
Mhm.
guys. So it's something I will never take for granted.
Well, it's been great to watch you play and then broadcast and stay around the team. And like you said, like if you're broadcasting or they're playing, do nothing average. So if you get thirsty, you can always have a little sip.
There you go. See, that's why you're amazing at what you do. DNA. I said earlier, like do nothing average, do everything with all your heart unto the
Yeah.
Lord, not unto men. That's one of my favorite scriptures. That's saying this, whatever you do, do with all your heart unto the Lord, not unto men. And so do nothing average. I really connected with this brand that I'm a partner of. I'm one of the owners, but yeah,
Oh, nice.
the performance beverage, and it's an energy drink. They also have a collagen drink, super healthy, electrolytes, vitamins. It's naturally sweetened, and this is zero sugar as well. This is the orange flavor. They have other flavors, and I believe I think it's on Amazon too. I think they signed. They have a contract with the DoD, and they're all over the place. I think they're going to be in a bunch of targets as well.
Nice.
And but do nothing average DNA. It's such a cool name of a brand to me. I mean, because you try to live life that way, right? You just try to do everything with all your heart and just do it as good as you can, prepare as good as you can, and show up and let your product be or let what you do be a product of that, how hard you worked. So that's just kind of how I try to live. It's kind of a movement, it's a way of life, and the drink kind of embodies that. And it really tastes good. It really tastes good too. So I drink the collagen drinks all the time, and the energy drink too. A lot of times before I work out,
Mm.
they're working on a non-carbonated version of it. That can be more of a sports drink and everything. So that is a beautiful brand to be a part of and to be able to use because it's part of my everyday life now. I talked about working out every day. I drink it before I work out every day. The energy drink, it gives me a lot of energy, and I then I can make sure I don't do my workout average. I can it could be better than average when it comes to my workout. So DNA, that's the brand. It's really a dope brand. It's the
Yeah.
movement. It's a way of life. Like I said, it's just a lifestyle. And again, great people behind the brand. My guy Corey McGetty introduced me to it, and he's also part of it. And everybody that's involved, wonderful people, and then that's a big part of the connection that happens when it comes to these things. Is can you connect with the people, their vision, their story, and the people that they are, and I do for sure. So that's been really cool to be a part of. Do nothing average.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a good selling point. If you drink it, you get the biceps of you or Corey Maggette, right?
That's it. That's it. Basically, yeah. You get these. I haven't even really done curls. This just kind of happens, but
See, I
it
hate guys
happened
like you,
because it would happen because of the drink. Basically, you
Yeah.
just kind of end up growing these types of arms. So that's another benefit of it. You end up looking like me or Corey. It's a possibility. I'm not going to say that's all from the drink, but yeah, Corey drinks it for sure too, and he's big on working out still, even in retirement. And again, it's when you're an NBA player, you get used to working out so hard and trying to take care of your body. And then sometimes when you retire, it's easy to kind of let yourself go, especially when you don't have a trainer, someone looking over you, a regiment, places to be at this time, that time you have your schedule all planned out for you. But with this drink, with Do Nothing Average, it really helps you kind of keep your energy so you can continue to work out the way you like to, continue to stay active, and make sure that you're still challenging yourself in big ways at times if you can. So, or even just little ways here and there. Your workout doesn't have to be the exact same as it was when you were playing,
Mm.
but just make sure it's challenging.
Yeah.
And this drink helps me do that and make sure I have the energy every morning, especially if I'm going to do it on an empty stomach. Sometimes I'll drink that and it gives me the energy like I have eaten a lot of the time. So it's a really good drink and it helps me just continue live the kind of lifestyle I want to, a healthy lifestyle, an active lifestyle. And I'm always getting around. I'm always on the road. I'm always flying somewhere. And my wife, the same thing. So it's good. It's really helped me out a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to put a link in the bio, and we've been talking for a while, so I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I just had to hit on one last thing. You're also behind Athletes Corner, right?
Yes, yes. The Athletes Corner. That's my foundation, nonprofit
Mm.
organization. I am the co-founder along with Brennan Career, a good friend of mine. We connected on the vision that we had to work with athletes to help families that are struggling spiritually, mentally, and physically through the avenue of sports. And so we want to come behind athletes and help amplify whatever it is they're passionate about, especially if it coincides with our vision in helping families. And so our biggest campaign right now is Swishes for Dishes with the Warriors. We partnered
Mm.
with the Warriors to get to 1 million meals every single season. 1 million meals provided to Bay Area families in need. We work with Feeding America, and they have food banks all over the world and all over the Bay Area. And food insecurity was such a huge issue before the pandemic. After the pandemic, it was a million times worse. It still is an issue today. And so I believe we're going into the 6th year of the Swishes for Dishes campaign, where we get to 1 million meals every year. So we've consistently gotten to over 1 million meals for the last 5 seasons. And this season coming up will be the 6th season. And Kaiser Permanente has jumped
Mm.
on board, and they're like-minded, and they want to see families getting fed. And these meals, we call them meals, they're actually like weeks worth of groceries. Like, it's a lot of food that we give to these families. And a lot of times the events will happen sometimes during the season, a lot of them during the season, a lot of them during the summer. And it's not just us saying that we're going to get to 1 million meals. We're actually able to see it come to fruition and get our hands dirty and go to these events where families will either drive up and we'll put it in their trunk
Mm.
or their car, the meals, or they'll walk up and we'll hand it to them at these drive-through or pantries or pop-up pantries. A lot of times it'll be at Chase Center. Sometimes it'll be at the food banks. Sometimes it'll be at some other location where it works um, logistically for people to get through there and have a really smooth event. So there's been some really cool events. And the cool thing about it is the players are involved too, which is what we always want to do as a foundation, the Athletes Corner. We want athletes to be able to give back and use their platform for good. So every time the Warriors score a point, any of the players score a point, 100 meals gets provided to
Wow.
Bay Area families in need. And that's how we get to 1 million meals. So we keep the count going all the way through the season. We have a tracker the fans can follow along with. The Warriors, you'll see them posting about the Swishes for Dishes campaigns has given over, X amount of meals because the Warriors scored X amount of points this game. So it's cool to see that happening and then actually be able to show that people are getting fed and families are getting fed when we're doing the events and everything. So it's just scratching that ministry itch for me. You always want to be able to give back and be in ministry somehow and helping people somehow. So for us, myself and my co-founder, Brennan Career, food was the tangible need that we could address, especially when the pandemic hit. That's kind of when we launched. And so it's been great to see the reaction. It's more blessed to give than to receive. And families are getting fed, and we're going to keep doing it as long as we can. So it's been great.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to put another link in the bio for that. And Kelenna, I got to say, it's been great to meet you virtually, and hopefully I'll see you down the road at Chase Center. And one last question: what are you working out today? What's on the agenda?
What am I working out today? So I'm going to do cardio. I'm going to
Okay.
do 30 minutes of Peloton. Then I'm going to do core.
Okay.
I
There
do
we
a lot
go.
of core, some abs, I'll do some pull-ups. I love my planks. I'll do that. I'll do some push-ups. I'll do like circuits,
Hmm.
and then I'll go with that. And if I've eaten before I work out, I feel like I need to go really hard. So it'll be a good workout. I'll work up
Nice.
more than a lather, and I'll be drinking this before I go to give me an extra boost so I can really get after it. in the weight room, and that's what we're going to do, man.
Awesome. Well, Kelenna, thanks for the time, and I'll see you down the road.
All right, Ryan. Thanks for having me, brother. Good to see you.